We begin today in the United States. After nearly a week of military occupation of Baltimore, Maryland, troops there have begun to withdraw from the city. Now, the move comes following the announcement that the police officers involved in the death of Freddie Gray on April 19th will be charged with homicide. Protests have become less tense since the announcement, and the curfew on the city has been lifted. Now, according to local and state authorities, it will take a while for the city to get back on its feet.
I think a lot of the unrest has been settled down in the sense of the protest, but that doesn't mean the work doesn't continue. We are actively engaging with the Department of Justice on collaborative review. We have been since last year in the process of improving our police department, reforming our police department, and putting in place things that will eliminate this type of incident from ever happening again.
It's going to take a little while for us to get totally back to normal, but I think lifting the curfew is a good idea. It's been a really rough week, but let's get back to normal in the city and get people back to work and back to school and get people coming back into the city to visit the shops that were really devastated this week, and the small mom and pop stores and the restaurants. They need your help, so we want to encourage everybody to come back to the city. It's safe, and we've got calm and peace in the city, which is something we haven't seen for a little while.
And to talk more now about the situation in Baltimore and what could be the next steps for the movement that has risen up against the police violence that saw the murder of Freddie Gray, we're going to turn to Luis Larin. He's an organizer with the United Workers in Baltimore. The United Workers is a human rights organization there, and we are going to turn to him over the phone. Do we have that? We're working on that telephone call. It's about to, I think it's about to come up here. Continuing to cover the situation in Baltimore. Working on a phone call from Luis Larin with the United Workers in Baltimore. Are you there, Luis?
Hello.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, to start, I'm just wondering what the situation is like there in Baltimore.
Sure. Yeah, the situation is right now is a little bit more calm in terms of the protest, but there is definitely a lot of energy in terms of like how to use this the situation to really highlight the real problem, which is the economic inequality, and also highlight that there is bigger problems in our economic and political system beyond just police brutality.
And Luis, the death of Freddie Gray, is really the latest in a line of recent extrajudicial killings there of African Americans, and it seems like some sort of a movement is arising as a result of these series of killings. Would you agree with that? Would you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, it's definitely, this is just one more example of how poor communities have been oppressed, not just by poverty, but also oppressed by violence in terms of like the police. And this is just one other example where people are saying, we can't take this anymore, we are tired, and we have something to say. So yes, it is just one more example, and it's not to like minimize the situation, but it's just one more example because there is so many people that doesn't have the public attention that Freddie Gray had, but that they also have been victims of police brutality, either by dying or by ending in the hospital or ending with serious injuries. So yes, I totally agree that this is not something new. It's just one more example, unfortunately.
And so, Luis, what do you think is next? What comes after this? What are the possible steps for community organizing there?
Yeah, for us, what is next is to really organize, unite, and educate the community in order to move forward a different political agenda. Because at the very end of the day, what we are talking about here is that the economic and political agenda that has been put forward, it hasn't been ever thought for the communities. For example, with United Workers, we are working on the fair development campaign that is addressing issues of housing, issues of education, issues of the inequality, the economic inequality, and that's what is next for us. Like how we capture this energy and transform this energy that to something that is bigger. Because as we know, this problem is bigger than just one more person dying in the hands of the police. We also need to look for a bigger solutions. We cannot just ask for small solutions if we are attacking a big problem. So for us, that is what is next. Is to really, there have been already a couple of coalitions and different organizations that are coming together and that they are really working hard on like attack these issues, attack the roots of the problems. Just few weeks ago, we just were confronting the issue that more or less 5,000 people were getting their water shut off in Baltimore City. So that's what we're confronting, and we cannot just say, oh, this is just about racism, or this is just about police brutality. This is about a whole economic and political system that needs to be challenged and changed. And the only way that can happen is by organizing the community and by bringing those people together and by bringing those voices of people that are living in the community that have a lot to say in this conversation, because the political and economic agenda has been put forward. It hasn't been shaped by the community. It hasn't been shaped by the people that are being affected. It's been shaped by other forces, and we are challenging that and saying no. This has to come from the community. If really support the community, it has to come from the community.
All right, Luis Larin, thanks so much for joining us from Baltimore, Maryland.